310 to Yuma stars Christian Bale, Ben Foster, Russell Crowe. Wait. I didn't watch 310 to Yuma? What did I watch? I watched a movie called Hostels. I'm pretty sure I watched 310 to Yuma. Because if I watched Hostels, that would mean it would have Christian Bale and Ben Foster and Rosamund Pike, in which Christian Bale plays an army officer who has to escort a Native American chief across enemy territory to get him back home. But in 310 to Yuma, Christian Bale also has to escort Russell Crowe across the western wasteland while being chased by bandits to get Russell Crowe to the train that'll bring him to Yuma prison. Is this not the same movie? Hostels stars Christian Bale reprising his role as Dan Evans from 310 to Yuma because, hey, if Red Dead Redemption Undead Nightmare can happen, I guess you can bring Dan Evans back from the dead even though he died at the end of 310 to Yuma. Okay, in all seriousness, Hostels is written and directed by Scott Cooper, who I think is an up-and-coming director, even though he has made tentpole films like Black Mass. Black Mass is a movie I loved. Sorry to burst everybody's bubble on that. I know it's not that well beloved. I loved Black Mass. He also did Out of the Furnace, which was under the radar. Got my words tied there. And I never saw Crazy Heart, and I've heard Crazy Heart is his best one. My favorite one is Black Mass. Out of the three I have seen, Hostels is definitely the worst. One aspect of Hostels that I really liked, the performances. They're amazing. Christian Bale, he's got this Western thing down. If they're going to make a Red Dead Redemption movie, 1, make it good. B, do it right. And 4, cast Christian Bale as John Marston. Rosamund Pike in this movie. Holy shit. She's come a long way from being the hot Bond chick in Die Another Day that had terrible dialogue, but at the same time gave 8-year-olds like myself at the time fantasies. Going on the record here, I think her performance in this film is better than her performance in Gone Girl, and she was magnificent in Gone Girl, don't get me wrong. But I think with her character and her performance in this movie, she captured the emotion and the pain her character was going through in this movie. I'd rather watch actors and actresses give subdued performances and really express the emotion and the pain and the struggle their characters are going through rather than just watch some psychotic bitch run around like she did in Gone Girl. The rest of this film, from a technical standpoint, is magnificent. Scott Cooper directs the hell out of this movie. The cinematography is beautiful and lush and captures that American Western landscape so well. I loved the score for this movie. I love the score for a lot of Westerns. This one in particular captured a score that was, peaceful, but yet harrowing, painful, and sorrowful. I think when Scott Cooper is on both sides of the camera, in which he is writing and directing a movie, I think he lets his directing duties sometimes get in the way of his writing duties, which I will talk about in a minute in another aspect, which is going to get into my negatives for the movie. But I think with this movie, he did a really good job with the characters. I've already talked about Rosamund Pike's character, how she conveyed the pain, the expressions, the emotion that her character was going through, and you see her really evolve throughout the film, and really with Christian Bale's character too, because Christian Bale's character really starts off as this guy that you don't really like. You're not really rooting for this guy, and then as the film goes on, you start to respect him more as he starts to respect other people more, where by the end of the film, you're just like, he's a good guy. Scott Cooper did a good job in writing that aspect of the film, the character aspect of the film. Where the film falters for me is the story. If you didn't understand the joke at the beginning, basically what I was saying is that this movie has a very, very identical plot to the remake of 310 to Yuma. Both films involve somebody escorting somebody across the western wasteland. Both films have a bunch of gunfights. Both films have Christian Bale and Ben Foster. Yeah, this is secretly a sequel, isn't it? I think the fact that both of these have Christian Bale and Ben Foster, and almost an identical plot is just a coincidence, so I'm not gonna knock Cooper for that. But the story is just, it's uneven. It's very slow paced. I will say that too. Kudos to the first and third acts of this film, because while there were slow-ish scenes, it kept me engaged enough to care, but a big fuck you to the second act of this movie. Colossal waste of time, boring as hell, was putting me to sleep. And I was a tired, grumpy old man today. Don't make me watch boring scenes in a movie, especially a Western, when I'm fucking tired. Nothing going on in these scenes. There's dialogue going on. Dialogue is literally happening before my eyes in these scenes. I zoned out. I'm like, okay, they're talking. I don't care what they're talking about. I tune back in at the end of the conversation. I'm like, oh look, I didn't miss anything. You're watching this film in the theater and you have to go pee-pee or poo-poo? Perfect time during this part of the movie. Weird, it's so serious, and it's like, the movie begins with this weird violence scene that tries to hook you in some creepy, twisted, disturbing way. It hooked me, but I'm kind of ashamed that it did. Whole family gets wiped out at the beginning of this. Like, kids die. There is a body count and kids drop in this movie. A kid gets shot, another kid gets shot, and you're just going along with it. You're like, oh, that kid got shot and she's dead. That kid got shot, she's dead. Okay, go, run away, Oh! They just shot and killed the baby. I'm pretty sure they killed the baby. There's blood. Nope, no vital signs there. That baby's dead. Why isn't the mother crying? I felt like that scene and maybe one or two other scenes were just violent for the sake of being violent. Another aspect of the story that really bothered me with this is there's really no stakes in this movie when you think about it. There's not one main antagonist. There's not that one main party that's chasing them. It's just a series of events, it feels like, that end up happening. The way Scott Cooper wrote that wasn't really beneficial to the story. It would have just been better if it was one party, one main antagonist that was part of that party that was chasing them throughout the whole movie. Not three main antagonists that felt like scenes that were tacked on or could have been deleted scenes, especially in that second act. Even though the story really falters in that second act and there's different aspects of the story that don't really work in this film, the other aspects of filmmaking, the direction, cinematography, the characters, the acting, everything, like the visuals, just all of that, all those different techniques really make this a good watch. Not as good as I was hoping it would be, but because of the different aspects of filmmaking, I can appreciate Hostiles as a film. I'm going to give Hostiles a B-. Just a fair warning here, guys. This movie can be a bit of a slow burn. It can put you to sleep at sometimes, especially in that second act. When the violence explodes, it is earned, and it does get pretty violent at times. Especially if you can't handle kids getting killed and massacred in crazy ways. But it is a bit slow, so just, if you're going into this expecting an action-adventure type of Western movie, it's not that. I can tell you that right now. I was going to ask you guys what you thought of Hostiles, but it's in limited release right now, so it's not wide everywhere. Like, it's only playing, like, in Boston, it was only playing in the theater in Boston. It wasn't playing anywhere outside of Boston. So it's in limited release right now. Once it goes wide, and if you do see Hostiles, I want to know what you thought of Hostiles. Drop me a comment in the comment section below, and you can find me on every medium of social media. I'll leave those in the description below. Those links you will find there. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.